Welcome, friends. This is Andre Aguides Desjardins, and as I try to do with the pre-release week, I'm going to open some of my prize packs as a Cracker pack. I only have 3 prize packs left, so I'm hoping one of them is going to provide a real good prize. But let's start what we have here. We have Pieces of the Puzzle. It's a 3-1 blue, 2 colorless sorcery. Reveal the top 5 cards in my library, put 2 instants or sorcery cards from among them in my hand and the rest in my graveyard. I'm not going to do the math to know how many instants and sorceries you need for this, but I know I'm not going to first pick it. I'm not saying I'm never going to play it. I'm saying it's probably a D- in most decks. There might be that one blue deck that requires the zombie. You can get a zombie for each instant and sorcery in your graveyard. That it might see play in, but it even may not there. I'm going to say overall it's a D-, but in that uncommon zombie deck, it might be a C. Alright, Expose Evil. It's white and colorless, instant tap up to 2 target creatures, and you get to investigate, so you get a clue token. I actually really liked Feeling of Dread from the last set. That was a white and a colorless, tap 2 creatures, and then you could flash black back for a blue and a colorless. I don't know. You get to investigate for the same amount of mana. You get a card to replace it. I think Expose Evil is a pretty average card, so I think this has it's pretty similar to it. I think it's a C. You'll be happy to you'll play it in your deck. In an aggressive deck, you probably won't be too happy to play it. I don't think it's that great in the defensive deck. It buys you a turn, or it buys you, a couple damage short, but then you have to pay 2 mana to investigate, and you may not necessarily get an effect you want. But you'll probably be happy to play it. It's probably a C. Alright, Fugitive Humonculon. It is a 2-1 for a blue and colorless, and it has Skulk, which means it can't be blocked with creatures of greater power. Unfortunately, it has 1 toughness, so it can trade down. It's not like a 2-2 where it would, trade even, or even a 2-3 where you could have a combat trick and blow them up. This is probably going to trade down. Overall, pretty underwhelming, C-. I mean, if you end up playing it, it's not the end of the world, but it's pretty underwhelming. Wicker Witch. It's a 3-1 for 3. It looks kind of creepy. It has flavor text. 3-1s for 3 is pretty C. Despite this, actually counts for 2 things for your Delirium. So I wouldn't bump it up to C+ because of that, but it is something to note if you have a 3-2 for 3 in this, and you're worried about Delirium, you may take this over the 3-2. If you're not worried about Delirium, you just want the superior stats. Stallion of Ash mods. The Innistrad Stallion. It's a 3-3 for 4, which is underwhelming, and it has Delirium, which is, when you have Delirium, you can pay a colorless and a black, and it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And the Shade ability is good. It can make him a big late game threat, but if you don't have Delirium, 3-3 for 4 is pretty underwhelming. Overall, a C. If you get Delirium late game, that's great. He can attack with threat of activation to be a 5-5 or 6-6. Nothing. I don't think I would play Delirium for deck considerations for him, though. Alright, Vessel of Volatility. It is a red and a colorless for an enchantment, and you sack it and add 4 red to your pool. This really seems like it could be abused in Constructed, but I don't know how abused it could be in Limited. You can definitely use it to get like a big werewolf out earlier. Removal isn't that great in this format, so that can be a thing, but it does open up to risk. It doesn't do much by itself, so probably a D. In the right deck, it might be a C. This just seems more like a Constructed type card to me. Alright, Timberhide Wolves. It's a 4-5 for 5, and it has flavor text. Wolves kind of do matter in some things. C, very C-ish. I don't like taking 5 drops off the get-go because I need to worry about curves as much as I would like to play just all 5 drops. I need to play some 2 drops so I don't die. Alright, Rancid Rats. They have Sulk. They are 1/1 for 2. They have Sulk, so yay, and they have Death Touch, and I value these as C+ because they have Death Touch. Sulk doesn't seem that good. Like, people don't want to block a 1/1 with Death Touch with anything decent whatsoever. But I'd be happy playing these just as 1/1 Death Touchers for 2. That's fine, that's playable. So far, this is my pick of the pack, the Zombie Rat, C+. Ooh, Fiery Temper. We have a contender. It's an instant that deals 3 damage to target creature or player for 2 red and a colorless, and it has Madness for 1 red. So far, I think this is the slam dunk pick of the pack. You're going to pay 3 red mana to deal 3 damage as an instant to anyway, and if you get the Madness off, hey, all the better. If you don't, that's fine. The highest C+ I can give. Alright, uncommons. We got some Creeping Dread. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player discards a card, and each opponent who discarded a card that shares a card type, the card you discarded loses 3 life. This seems like a lot of text for a really underwhelming card, as you're down the card to begin with, because you have to play this and then you start discarding cards. I don't even think this is a good Madness enabler because it doesn't activate when you want. It's a nice, neat design, but overall I think it's a really poor card. A D-. Like, I don't foresee myself playing this ever. Alright, Malevolent Whispers. It's a red and 3 colorless sorcery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So it's Treacherous Instinct, and it has a Madness cost of Treacherous Instinct. I think Treacherous Instinct, fine, playable card. I can see, because this format has some bigger werewolves and stuff, that might be a bit... Stealing a creature might have a bit better effect, but I don't think anything seems that aggressive. Not like Rakdos in Ravnica block, where the other time I played Treacherous Instinct. So this is probably C. I'd play it. The Madness cost is a nice little bonus, but not something I'm stoked on. Overall, this pack has been a very flat power level. Alright, I have Griff's Boon. Enchant creature gets +1/+0 and has flying. And for white and 3 colorless, you can return from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to a creature, activated only as you can do a sorcery. This actually overperformed for me a lot by equipping my friend's werewolves and 2-headed giant. The fact this is low risk, if they kill your creature you can get it back, and I think flying is very relevant in this format. I would actually give this card a C. I'd put this 1 copy of this card in my deck and be happy to play with it. The second one, not so much. I think the first one is a C+, and then the second one is like a D. Because the effect, you only need the effect once, and because it can repeat itself, that's what you are looking for, just so you can get your creatures through. Alright, I have a rare. It is Markov Dread Knight. It's a 3/3 for 5 Vampire Knight. Flying, discs 3 mana, discard a card, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. This, I think, is actually really good in the set. It enables Madness, but there'll be often times where you can just make it a 5/5 flyer. That's a pretty good dragon. C+, I'd give this a C+. I don't know if I'm going to take it over Fiery Temper or not, but it is a contender. Alright, Solitary Hunter. Get those out of the way. I gotta land in a clue token. Solitary Hunter, it's my werewolf. At the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform him. 3/4 for 4 is pretty average. And you transform him, and he's a 5/6 with flavor text. Not flavor text, he has the werewolf text. If 2 or more spells were cast, he goes back to being a dumb human. C, this seems pretty Flat power level C, just like playing them. So we have these two cards. We have Fiery Temper. We have the Vampire Knight. I think Fiery Temper is just the overall better card. Removal so scarce. Having good removal is really relevant. If you took the Vampire Knight, I wouldn't blame you. That seems like a really powerful effect in the vampire decks. So there you go. But I'm going to take Fiery Temper. Burn, baby, burn. This was Andre Desjardins. Have a good day, friend.